Hello, good day. My name is Francis Uzo of the Professional Educators Forum. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some of the challenges that schools are going to face in the post-COVID era. And as a school, as an entrepreneur, or as a school administrator, you've got to pay rapt attention to some of these challenges and then prepare on how you're going to be able to overcome them. We're not just going to be talking about the challenges, we are going to be talking about the ways that schools can usually help, ways that they can really use to solve some of these problems for themselves. And you know that Robert Scholler said that problems are usually not stop signs, but they are guidelines. Problems are really guidelines. And all problems become smaller when they are confronted rather than when they are really dodged. So as an administrator of a school, your ability to be able to preempt a problem gives you the edge over those who are not able to preempt such problems. So let's go there. One of the major challenges that schools will face during the post-COVID-19 era is the massive migration of teachers. A whole lot of teachers are going to switch schools. Some of them are going to change jobs. You may just resume to discover that they are no more. Number two is the massive migration of students. Schools who are not able to engage effectively during this era will lose their students, as the case may be. Number three, lack of sufficient funds. Some of the challenges you will face is going to be that due to the lengthy period of no income coming into the school, you're going to experience a whole lot of shortage in income. We're going to talk about how you can fix some of these issues. We're also going to talk about stiffer competitions. There's going to be competitions, there's going to be, there's going to be survival of the fittest. And a whole lot of companies are already going down. The education industry is not left out. Now, number five, we are going to be talking about so much debt. It's going to be one of the challenges you are going to face as a school. So you must be prepared for it. You must know what to do so that you'll be able to avoid so much debt. So let's get started. The first challenge you face as a school is the mass exodus of teachers, or teachers moving from one school to the other. But I have two solutions for you. One of them is that as a school administrator, it will be very wise you call your teachers to a roundtable meeting, engage them, let them know these are the challenges, these are things that are happening. You may not be able to pay full salary over a period of time. Even governments, the Kano State government the other day announced a 50% slash in the salary of their staff. And so many other banks are also negotiating with their staff on how to cut their salary in order to retain them. So as a school, you need to call your staff, you need to explain to them, you need to engage them, you need to make them understand the reason why they have to stay. If you engage them. Secondly, if most of them accept a reduction in salary or a kind of an agreement with you, you must also think of how you can introduce some palliatives. Some palliatives in the sense that you may have to probably give them some stipends over this period of no work, probably buy some foodstuffs. One of the greatest needs of man is really food. And if you're able to give them some of those palliatives to manage what they are doing, it will really help them. Number two is the mass migration of students. A whole lot of students will change school, especially if they belong to schools that were not very serious in engaging them over this period of COVID-19 lockdown. So many parents are going to be looking for schools that are very serious. So one of the things you must do regularly is to engage your students, engage them through every possible means. Use your website, your online platform, every platform, and make sure there are cheaper platforms you're going to use to be able to engage your students. Give them assignments, give them classwork, do everything necessary to be able to regain them. Another thing you may have to do is to engage with your parents. You may have to have an online meeting with your parents, explain to them some of the challenges that schools are going through, see whether they can come to a compromise and begin to give some little stipends to some of the teachers that will, be able to do all these online lectures, because it takes time, it takes energy, it takes a whole lot of things to be able to engage teachers over this period. Number three, you are going to encounter insufficient funds. It's one of the major challenges you are going to face because income is not coming in, and as a school, you're already spending what you already have. So during the post-COVID era, you may have to consider various sources of alternative income. You may have to look for grants, you may have to look for soft loans, you may have to look for partnerships, especially partnership that works. You have to think of who and who are going to work with you to be able to raise your school to the standard that you want. You may also have to look for investors. In this part of the world, we usually do not believe in having investors invest in our businesses. But if you're a school, you may think of having an investor, somebody who has the money to pay teachers over a long period of time, discuss the terms, have a lawyer to advise you on how you are going to work with your partner. It may be a long-term partnership, it may be a short-term partnership, it may be just somebody who is going to invest in your business and that will gain small profit out of your business. Number 3, you're going to face stiffer competition. The kind of competition you're going to face immediately the government lifts the ban on public gathering for a school is going to be massive. So as a school, you must begin now to strategize, begin to say, what are the marketing strategies that I'm going to apply that will work for my school? You begin to sit down. There are a whole lot of marketing strategies. This is not the session to talk about each of the marketing strategies, but you have to start planning. You have to start engaging your brain, your mind, keep engaging your team. What are we going to do in the post-COVID era? You must have to begin to think outside the box. Another thing you may have to consider is digital marketing. Digital marketing is cheaper, is faster, and will take your school even far beyond your local vicinity. So think of how you will be able to maximize the platforms that you have in digital marketing to be able to sell your school. And then the next challenge is that your school will likely face is going to be the ability for teachers to absorb the shock of the things that will happen during the post-COVID era. A whole lot of teachers, they may be depressed, they may feel a lot of challenges, family challenges. You must be there as the head, as the entrepreneur, as the director, as the administrator. You must be there to encourage them. You must be there to teach them. You must be there to motivate them. You must be there to give them one of these little things that will really make them want to stay and then work for you. I believe some of these things that we have mentioned, look at mass exodus of teachers, mass exodus of students, migration, stiffer challenges, then debts. You're going to encounter debts. These are things that will happen. The economy is already almost on, what do we call it, recession. So a lot of parents are not going to have all the cash that they need. So they are going to come up with stories. They are going to come up with things that will tell you, oh, we don't have the money. But you have to start thinking, how am I going to deal with such kind of parents? Am I going to be giving them, what alternatives for payments am I going to give them? Am I going to give them the option to pay monthly, to pay, in tranches so that they will be able to finish their payments? What am I going to do? Come up with a financial forecast, a financial plan. You may also need to organize seminars and workshops for your parents, for them to see the needs of them to be able to, pay for their students, their children's school fees, as the case may be. So just think, these are the 5 challenges you are going to face. You must think of how to overcome them. And you may have to be applying some of these things that we have talked about. Thank you very much. My name still remains Francis Uzo from the Professional Educators Forum. This is our online television. We are so much interested in the growth of your school. Thank you very much. Always remember to subscribe on our YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, just subscribe. You can also invite us for trainings and all forms of seminars and workshops or school growth and school administration. Thank you very much. I remain your friend, Francis Uzo.